Well, hello, everyone. Welcome to A Course in Miracles 365, Awakening to Love. I'm Tomas Garza, your host, and I've got well, a really direct show in store for you today. We have a very direct idea that we're covering today from the Workbook for Students. And well, every time I think that the live stream's only going to take a couple of minutes because I don't really have anything to add to what Jesus and the Holy Spirit have to say here, every time I say that, we're still on after a half an hour because we find that there are a lot of things to be said about how we apply these very simple ideas in the world. So I'll probably be on for a little bit, but I thank you nonetheless for joining me. And as we wait for people to jump on here, I just want to say that I very much appreciate everyone who has tuned in, all of the shares of this page, all of the shares of this live stream, the likes, the hearts, and especially the comments. There are a couple of reasons why I keep mentioning this. Number one, what we're aiming for here on the network is to expand these ideas, these teachings to as wide an audience as possible. So if you're enjoying them and you have friends or family members or colleagues, people that you know who might benefit from hearing and seeing this programming, please feel welcome to share this with them. Also, please feel welcome to leave comments. I enjoy the dialogue very much, and there's no such thing, if you have a question, as a question that's too beginner to be asked on here. In fact, those are the ones that should be asked because people that have been doing this for a while need to hear the basic level stuff again and again and again. Why? So we don't overlook the obvious. Because as we're going to see in a few minutes, today's idea is perfectly obvious, but that doesn't mean that we're ready to accept it. A completely different thing. So if you have questions about A Course in Miracles, about today's idea, about anything spiritual related in general, feel welcome to put that here in the comment thread because I will get to the live comments here while the stream's still going on. And if you miss the live stream and you're catching this on the replay, thank you for watching. And I will catch the comments later on today because I do check them from time to time. So whether you're watching live or not, you can still participate in the discussion. This is what we want, is to have a forum for this discussion to occur. All right, so I promised a very succinct idea, and well, I'm going to deliver that. Now, as you probably are aware, having watched the last couple live streams, if you've tuned in, we've been talking about forgiveness as it's presented in A Course in Miracles for our study and, most importantly, for our application. In other words, our practice. We're at lesson 122 today in the workbook, and the idea is forgiveness offers everything I want. Just that. Forgiveness offers everything I want. And it occurs to me that there might be a voice inside people's heads. Perhaps it's real active in your head. You know, it's been real active in mine from time to time in my lifetime on this journey that we're all on. There might be a voice saying, well, what I really want is lunch. I would really like a steak dinner. I would really like to go swim in the pool. I'd like to go for a hike. I'd like to go to the beach. I'd like somebody to pay for an all expenses paid vacation to Italy and send me there to a villa in Tuscany for a month with all of the food I can eat, you know, and a beautiful garden and everything like that. What we're talking about here in the workbook is what we all really, truly want. And nothing against an all expenses paid trip to Tuscany, right? Nothing against all the Italian food and wine that we could possibly consume. But that's not what we're talking about. We're not talking about lunch, as important as that may be. What we're talking about is what we all really deep down truly want: peace, comfort, certainty, love, tranquility, real, lasting peace. And forgiveness offers that to us. I invite you to think of a time in your life where you forgave someone. And I don't mean forgiveness with strings attached, where you held a grudge against the person and held the fact that you deigned to forgive them over their head. Right? Perhaps you've been on the receiving end of that. I think that we all have. So our experience would give us plenty of examples there. Think of the time where you actually did forgive someone, and think back to how that made you feel. And think of that. You've probably thought of a person whom you forgave at one point in time and how that made you feel. Now, if you would like to type this in the comments, please feel welcome to share. There might be people on the other side of the world that would love to hear from you, because maybe they're going through the same thing. It's another reason why these comments on a platform like this are so valuable, is you never know who may be listening. You never know who may be tuning in. Now, question: when you legitimately, genuinely, authentically forgave somebody, did you feel lighter? Did you feel more loving, more relaxed, perhaps? There's a big difference between true forgiveness and forgiveness as people often practice it in the world, with strings attached, holding something over someone's head. It's all too common. It's all too common. And the Course is talking about true forgiveness, which offers everything that we want. It's the way to everything that we want. Now, salvation, and that's the word that A Course in Miracles uses, you are free to plug in a different word, such as awakening, full awakening, enlightenment, ascension. You name your term. We're all talking about the same thing here. So let's continue with the word that the Course uses, because this is a Course-centered live stream: salvation. Okay, it's very simple. It's forgive and be forgiven. Okay, forgive and be forgiven. You can throw in there, as you give, you will receive. Forgive and be forgiven. As you give, you will receive. We've seen in the study of the workbook that to give and to receive are the same. The Course says to give and to receive are one in truth. That's a workbook idea that we've covered here on the show. It's very, very simple. When we forgive, we are forgiven. Why? There's no separation of any kind between ourselves and the person or people whom we're extending forgiveness to. No separation at all. Therefore, to give forgiveness is to receive it. To give, in general, is to receive. Give love, receive love. Extend love, receive love. Dish out hatred, get hatred back. Sure. I mean, when we're lashing out at somebody, we automatically, whether we choose to accept this or not, we automatically feel awful as soon as we do it, don't we? So this is salvation, enlightenment, awakening. Forgive and be forgiven. To give is to receive. And what this does mean, by extension, is we have countless opportunities every day to wake up. Isn't this a beautiful thing? Isn't this wonderful that we have many, many, countless, really, opportunities throughout the day to wake up? The way we operate in the world is likened in various spiritual traditions to being asleep, to a dream, and we're waking from that dream. It's simple. Forgive and be forgiven. Forgiveness offers everything that I want. Forgiveness offers everything that you want. Forgiveness offers everything that we all want. So, salvation, enlightenment, awakening, these are all simple statements, right? It's very simple. So why then are we not all fully awakened? That's the question, right? We have identified through countless lifetimes. I mean, it doesn't matter if you believe in past lives, future lives, rebirth or not. From time immemorial, even if time immemorial for you means simply this present lifetime, we've identified with the ego, haven't we? We've identified with a separate sense of self and suffered. We've identified with this to our detriment, our incredible detriment of grief, of lack, of loss, of decay, suffering, pain. I mean, you name it. You name it. Our experiences of beauty, our experiences of love and kindness in this world don't tend to last. In fact, they don't last. They're completely impermanent as long as we continue to identify ourselves as separate. So what is the miracle of forgiveness anyway? The miracle of forgiveness is it's helping us change our minds. When we do it according to this thought system, to A Course in Miracles, when we do it genuinely and honestly, we're giving love to ourselves. Yes, we're giving it to another person or a group of people or the world or circumstances. Literally, there's nothing that we cannot forgive. There's nothing that we cannot forgive. And you start with what you feel able and willing to do. And that's really it, is willingness. Salvation is very simple. The reason that we're not all fully awakened is because we've not been willing to accept that for ourselves. As the Course puts it, we're not willing to accept the atonement for ourselves. And the atonement is a change in perception. It's a pure perception that is the last step before we return to the truth of who we really are. Now, A Course in Miracles is all about changing our minds so that we can prepare the ground. Now, as the Course puts it, God takes the final step himself, right? Knowledge or direct experience of God, who we really are, is beyond all words. It's beyond all perception. But since we're here seeing ourselves as subject and object in dualism, in complete duality, running around as apparently separate bodies, since we're having this experience, we need a remedy that meets us where we appear to be. Enter forgiveness, where we forgive each other, where we forgive ourselves. What does this offer us? Happiness with a different point of view, with a different perception. We prepare the ground so that the love of God is all we see, and then we pass beyond perception. Our true reality, our true home is beyond anything that can be thought. It is beyond anything that can be spoken about. It's who we really are, and we're laying the groundwork. Think of forgiveness as a fundamental practice. And if you've been following A Course in Miracles, some of you watching this live stream that I've spoken with have been following this thought system in this lifetime longer than I have. So you would absolutely know the profound power of this practice. And what do we do? Well, in the workbook, every idea has some suggestions and ideas for practice. So we work on it, try it, and see how you feel. This is what I invite everyone to do, is try it and see what happens for you. See how you feel. Note whether you feel lighter. I don't mean physically lighter in terms of losing pounds or kilograms or anything like that. I mean emotionally lighter. Are you more joyful? Are you more forgiving? Are you happier? Are you more loving? Do you more easily extend compassion to people? Are you more willing to overlook the meaningless drama that maybe you once got stuck on? Because we all do. We all get stuck on this. This is the most direct and the most effective remedy for all of this. Forgiveness. It offers everything I want. And what we are to do is accept this. Accept this as true. It requires willingness. You must be willing to accept this as true. You must decide to accept this as true. When you do, you receive. To give is to receive. To forgive is to receive the gifts of God. Unconditional love, beyond reference, without any limitation of any kind. It's who we are. We're awakening to that fact. As the subtitle of the show says, we're awakening to love. So I invite you to read, if you're following along here, this is Workbook Lesson 122. I invite you to read all of the comments here. It's about 2 pages and change here. And it's beautiful. We're using words to communicate with each other. It's beautiful. And the ideas that come up are liberating and truly, truly loving, heartfelt, compassionate, wonderful. So I invite you to read them all, and I invite you to practice. And if all that you do is recite the day's idea, forgiveness offers everything that I want, then do just that, because it will serve as a very powerful reminder. Nothing against lunch, as I mentioned at the outset, nothing against an all expenses paid trip to a villa in Tuscany with all you can eat beautiful Italian food and wine, you know, garlic, olive oil. Yeah, nothing against anything like that. Nothing against anything that you may desire here in the world. But again, what we're talking about is the peace of God, real peace. This is what we're all after. It's what we all are. We simply need to decide that we want to awaken to that. And we do that, make that decision, begin the practice of forgiveness, which offers all of it to you. All right, so thank you so much for tuning in here. Let's take a look. I want to take a look here at the comment thread and see who may be joining me today. And if you have any questions or comments, or if you just want to say hello, I'm always welcome to, you're more than welcome to say hello, and I'll give you a shout out here. And I was going to bring this up right now. And I'm streaming right here live to Enlightened World Network. And all right, there I am. All right, so if anyone has any comments or questions here, feel welcome to put them in the comment thread. And I do get to these here. And this is a daily live stream. So I will be back here again tomorrow. And what we'll do is we'll move on from today's idea and we'll cover in the workbook for students, lesson 123, and some very, very, very profound and beautiful ideas. We're into the thick of our practice of our awakening here. So I thank you for joining me. This has been A Course in Miracles 365, Awakening to